People are realizing that their jobs are not quite as secure as they hope that they would be on that. And they find that they can control their destiny a little bit more or a lot more when they go into their own business, when they go into franchising.
If you're finding value in what you're watching, consider hitting the subscribe button and turning on the bell notification. Oh, and don't forget to drop a comment. I love hearing your thoughts and ideas. By the way, we have got a ton of other videos waiting for you. And if you are ready to level up your mindset, come hang out with us in our private Facebook group called Mindset for Business Success. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Shahid Durrani. Today, we have with us Greg Mohr. Greg is the founder of Franchise Maven and has a wealth of experience in franchising. Welcome you to our show, Greg.
Shahid, thank you very much for having me, sir. It's an honor.
It's my pleasure, my friend, my pleasure. Can you share what your biggest lesson was in your earlier entrepreneurial journey that kind of pushed you towards franchise consulting?
Absolutely, Shahid. So we go back in the Wayback Machine for that one. My first foray into franchising was actually back in high school. When I was in high school, most of us got jobs at fast food places. Mine just happened to be Taco Bell. And I found out as I moved up through the ranks in there, started managing the restaurants, that lady Kathy, she owned 50 Taco Bells and throughout the Sacramento, California area. Yeah, she was awesome. Yeah. She was a master franchiser for Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It was really cool. So she taught me everything about franchising. I helped her build her teams in various restaurants throughout the Sacramento, California area. So that was my first foray into it. Went into the corporate world, restaurant manager for 15 years, microelectronic circuit engineer for 15 years, got a degree in electrical engineering and physics, got a master's degree in business. Read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Oh, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, while I was getting my master's degree. He definitely ruined my corporate career for me on that one. I realized that there is something better out there, actually. So while I was in the corporate world, me and another friend of mine, another engineer, we bought a dry cleaners, storage units, and then I had some rental property. So I was doing that on the side. Eventually, we both got out of the corporate area. And although I enjoyed the dry cleaners that we ran, it was a privately owned dry cleaners that we bought. So we had to figure everything out ourselves. Real challenge on that one, real big. And I was thinking back to my Taco Bell days in the franchising. I thought that franchising thing was really cool. I like that. Good playbook, step by step on how to do it. So I said, I sold all my shares, my half of the business to my friend, said, you take over that. I'm going to go check out that franchising thing. 30 years later, I decided, yep, I got to go check out that franchising thing. So I really learned, the lesson learned on that was that I enjoy stepping into a business that's got a playbook, step-by-step playbook, and has got a team of people that will help you grow your business and help you succeed. So went out into the franchising world, found with the help of a franchise consultant, I found a great franchise, ran that for a couple of years. And then I went back to that franchise consultant and said, I like what you do. You get to work from home, work with people all over the United States, actually all over the world on that one. Mm-hmm. And you get to help them realize their dream of business ownership. That's what I want to do. Teach me that. And 10, 12 years ago, and I haven't looked back since.
I love it. Becoming a franchisee lessens the risk. There's always a risk, but because of those systems and processes that have been tested again and again, you're walking into something that's going to be very supportive, especially when we're talking about business ownership.
Not only do you have that franchisor that's going to help you grow that business, but along the way, you're going to talk to as many franchisees as possible.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the franchises give out a protected territory. So franchisees aren't competing with each other. So now you make a lot of friends along the way. Now you've got all the other franchisees that are going to help you grow your business as well.
So you mentioned storage units. I've heard, and is coming in my awareness more often, that's the way to go if you're looking at a real estate type of business. Can you speak about self-storage and the impact it's making right now in the world and why there's so much interest?
Yeah, Shahid, I sure can. It's amazing, all the stuff we collect and we just don't want to toss out on that. We just use every once in a while, but don't want to keep it at our house. My storage units were always, or our storage unit, me and a friend of mine, they're always filled up. People always had things that they wanted to store for a little while. So summer things, winter things, that sort of thing. They didn't want to keep it at their house. They didn't want to clutter their house. So they stick it into the storage unit. Great real estate buy. You can buy the real estate. It's going to be a little bit of a cost there if you actually buy the real estate rather than renting it on that one. But you buy the real estate, you put up a few units, nothing extravagant. You have maybe one employee, maybe two employees in case one of them wants to go on vacation on that. And very simple, very easy business to do. And our state filled up for the most part, almost all the time.
So do you have franchises franchises available in the storage business?
We do have a couple of them that are out there in the storage business. Again, they are rather costly a venture to get into on that. The ones we have are similar to the pods that you see out there, where they, instead of having people actually come to the storage unit, on that one, they'll take the little storage container out to you. You put your stuff in it, and they'll take it back and store it in a climate-controlled environment, so everything stays nice on that. And then they just bring stuff to you when you need it on that. So very convenient. And I think there's a couple of franchises out there where they're actually just the physical structure where you put up things yourself and you have the employees do it. Amazingly enough, there's not a lot of franchise storage units. I can think of maybe 2 or 3 franchise storage units out there.
That might be a good opportunity to become a franchisor.
True. If you've got, that's one other thing that I help you with is becoming a franchisor. If you've got a franchise or a business like storage units and you've duplicated it once or twice and you're doing some very good money at it, very easy to turn yourself into a franchise and just grow your business exponentially through franchising.
When someone isn't really sure what type of franchise matches, I guess, their interests or what they would be successful in, how do you help them find that right fit?
First step, Shahid, is that they come to me, and that's who I usually work with, as people that don't know exactly what they want to get into. If you do know exactly what you get into, just go check it out. If you're not too sure, then you come to me. So we have a first phone call where I ask them, just ask me anything you want about franchising, tell me all about yourself, to get them comfortable working with me and making certain they don't think I'm a complete idiot and they want to move on that one. But so we get to know each other a little bit, and I really get to know what they're looking for in a franchise to make certain that their expectations are somewhat reasonable as far as that goes. The next step in the process, I'll send them out a questionnaire to fill out and a matrix of business types. The matrix of business types gives them gets the creative juices flowing. It shows them the different various types of franchise businesses that they can get into on that one. And then a few other questions to go through as well. Basically, where have you been? So what do you bring to the table? What's your background? What are your skill sets? Where are you at now? How much time do you want to invest? How much money are you comfortable investing in a franchise? And then where do you want to be 5 to 10 years from now? So we go through all that. We go through the questionnaire. The second phone call will be all about my clients, half hour, however long it takes for me to get to know them, go through a lot of questions, using all that information to narrow down the possibilities. And then my next step then is to go out and find 5 or 10 different franchise opportunities where those franchisors are looking for people just like my client, and my client is looking for those types of franchises. And then I bring back 5 or 10 different possibilities on that. We go through those together, try and narrow it down to about 2 or 3 franchises that they could picture themselves doing. And then I walk them through the process of investigating those franchises and to see if franchising is right for them to begin with. And if it is, which franchise is right for them.
Okay, wonderful. So could you share what something people often overlook when they're researching a franchise opportunity?
Oh, absolutely. Shahid. The very first thing, I get a lot of this from my real estate investors, or from actually most people as well, but I get a lot of real estate investors that come in. The first thing that you and I, Shahid, when we're driving around, we see the brick and mortar franchises all the time. And we see things like McDonald's, Taco Bell, Supercuts, Great Clips, Meineke, Mako. So we're thinking big investment, large franchise, you got to work in it full time, which is just not the case. The brick and mortar franchises, yes, they're going to be a little larger investment, $250,000, $300,000 on up for that. But if you get into the service industry franchise, those are about $150,000, give or take on those. And there's probably a franchise in just about every industry you can think of. So most people don't realize how many different opportunities there are out there, as far as not only the amount of money you invest, but the amount of time you invest as well. So you don't have to be full-time necessarily in these franchises. Some of them do. Some of them would require you to do full-time on there, but there's quite a few of them in every industry where you can do semi-absentee, part-time. What we call it semi-absentee is where you are managing the manager, managing the profit and loss statements, and you're probably putting in about 10 to 15 hours a week, depending on your management skill and style on there. And brick and mortar, you build it and they will come. theme on that one. Great real
Yeah.
estate location. Franchise will help you find it. Service industry. Your clients don't necessarily know you exist until they need you. So a great franchise system is needed to drive people to you when that need arises.
Yeah, the service-based franchises was a wonderful point that you just made. Many people might not realize that there are opportunities where they could create a substantial income without having the brick and mortar.
Very true. Very true. Most of the franchises are looking for you to build up a great six-figure income on those. And so some of the ones, especially the essential services franchises, if you get into those, there are several of them that once you built it up over a couple of years, you could be looking at top line bringing in the seven-figure range on that with a great 25, 30% bottom line on those. So there's plenty of opportunities out there for you to build a very large income and semi-absentee as well.
That's good. Semi-absentee. So which industries do you think are becoming the hottest right now?
Lately, what I've been what most of my people have been gravitating towards, Shahid, are the essential services, things that people need all the time on that. Think of things like HVAC, heating and air conditioning on that. That's something that it doesn't matter if there's COVID going on or the economy's going down. If your heating or your AC is broke, it's going to be fixed. It's going to be fixed now.
Well, you need the technical education to have that franchise. You need to be part of that industry.
No, not at all. Franchisers, whenever you're looking at a franchise system, the franchises do not want you working in the business. They want you working on the business.
Because that's a really good business. Like they're in multi-millions, their revenues.
Yeah, those are the ones that we have that we work with. Some of them can bring in $4 or $5 million a year on gross sales. And no, they're looking for business people. They want you to work on it. If you get into something like the HVAC, electrical, plumbing, that sort of thing, you're going to have a master electrician or a master plumber that's going to be doing the actual work, and it's going to be working with the actual electricians or plumbers, HVAC people. Your role is going to be to go out there in your community and let people know who you are, the face of that franchise in your community. So that's part of what franchising is all about, is you're the local owner on that. Again, you don't have to do it full time. You can still keep your day job, but you're going to be going out there letting your community know who you are, what you can do, how you can help solve their problems. And other people are going to do the actual work. So you don't necessarily have to be an electrician, a plumber, HVAC. We have restoration franchises as well. Whenever there's like water, smoke, fire damage or something like that, you're their hero. You bring everything back and put it back to normal again. But you're working on that business, building it up. Somebody else is going to be doing the actual work for you.
The only issue that I could think of that may happen, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, is the fact that the skilled master technician, for example, in any of those industries could potentially abuse that relationship, meaning they could say something that the owner won't know about to get away. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have the knowledge and expertise in that industry, and people can tell you anything.
So what you do is whenever, and my people have all these concerns. The real estate people really like this because they work with these people all the time. So they've got a good idea about it, my real estate investors. What you do when you have these concerns is what I tell all my people is talk to as many franchisees as possible and find out from them firsthand what kind of issues that they've run into. Are they running into this issue? So yeah, we're talking about skilled labor.
You have the support.
Yeah, you have the support. And these people have been doing it before. And then if you really want to reduce your risk, like you mentioned before, there's still some risk in business. So you've got to be a little bit risk averse if you're going to get into business for yourself, because there's still that risk there. It is a business. But what you want to do is look at franchises that have maybe been around for 10 years, 20 years, 100 franchisees or more on their system. The average franchise in the U.S. today, when there's about 5,000 of them, has about 20 franchisees. So when it gets into the 100 franchisee mark, you're talking about 5% of the franchises today get to the 100 franchisee mark or more. So what you want to do is, if you want to reduce that risk, is you want to look for ones that have been around for a long time, have 100 franchisees or more. So that shows you that they've survived through many different ups and downs in the economy. They've got the longevity. And also you've got many different franchisees to call upon, and you want to keep calling them until you start getting the same answers over and over again. And yeah, if we're looking to senior care, for instance, biggest concern, people love to help out seniors, help out mom and dad stay home a little while longer, but you're sending somebody into their home. So that is a big concern. What kind of liabilities do I deal with? What kind of problems do you run into? That's where you talk with the franchisees and the franchisor and find out what problems have they run into and see if that is really an issue or not in whatever industry that you're looking into. You want to reduce your risk quite a bit. So what you're looking for there, if you want to do that, is you want to look for franchisors who have been around 10, 20 years or more. They have 100 or more franchisees out there. There's about 5,000 franchises in the U.S. today. On average, they have about 20 franchisees in there. So once you hit, a franchise hits 100 or more franchisees, you're in the top 10, they're in the top 5%, because only about 5% of them make it to 100 franchisees or more. So you want to reduce your risk, get with the franchises that have 100 or more franchisees on that. That way you also have a lot of different franchisees to call upon to find out all those concerns that you may have about, does an employee learn what, you teach them what they're going to do and they take off if they're a skilled employee? If when they're senior care, you're sending people into people's homes, what kind of liabilities there, what kind of issues they run into, find out all these things and make sure you're comfortable with it as you go through and you're asking all these questions. There is a lot of concerns, and we're talking skilled labor versus non-skilled labor. There's different areas that people like to get into on that. So all these concerns, all these questions, many of my people have had, and they'll go through and they'll talk to the franchisees about that, the existing franchisees, and find out firsthand from them, what is it all about? What challenges am I going to face? What liabilities am I going to face? And how often have there been problems like that?
That's super important to get that kind of support from people that are already doing what you're about to do or you're also doing at that moment, because without that support in a traditional business, you would be researching, trying to figure out, or hire a consultant, where you don't need to do all that. You'll have the support within the same organization.
Exactly correct, Shahid. And that's what we had to do when we had that dry cleaners, is we had to figure it all out for ourselves because we had nobody to turn to.
Yeah. So, Greg, can you share what you found the most important mindset trait to ensure success when you look at a franchisee?
Oh, absolutely, Shahid. So I have a list of questions for everybody to go through. You'll have a list of your own. But any of those fears, concerns, you've got to get out of the way. You've got to ask them. Go through the franchise disclosure documents on that and make sure you know about those. Have a franchise attorney look them over as well. Franchise attorney is going to let you know what you're getting yourself into and making sure you're okay with that. The biggest thing you could do to make certain that you're okay with that franchise, and if you want to make a great deal of money on there, then talk to the people that are making the most amount of money in that franchise system. Ask them what they do on a regular basis, day to day. How soon did the money come in? What did you got to do to get it? How much it is? And then picture yourself doing that. If you can picture yourself doing what they're doing to make their business successful, then you know you're probably on the right track on that one. That's probably the biggest key to that being successful. If you can't picture yourself doing it, but you still like the franchise, then just know that you're going to be hiring somebody to fill that position that you don't want to do on that.
It's like seeing through your own self-image if this is something that you can take on moving forward. That's a very good initial indicator.
Yes, absolutely.
So how do you see franchising changing in the next 5 years?
There are going to be a lot more people that are going to be what we call corporate refugees, that are no longer interested in working for somebody else, and they want to get out of that world. A lot of my people have already run a business within a business. They've been managers, vice presidents, CEOs on that. And so they've already done it. They're already running a business. And I see a lot of them coming out of the corporate world and really getting into the franchise, because a lot of them don't have the latest, greatest idea about what to do next on that. And then from the business point of view, when people do have the latest, greatest idea and they're building up their business, we see a lot of people wanting to grow a little bit quicker. If you have your own business and you want to grow it to a new location, you spend all your money to do it. You hire somebody else to fill the positions that you need as manager. And I think so you can grow, but more linear growth on that one. When you get into franchising, it's more exponential growth. You can grow a lot quicker. Your role changes quite a bit, but I find quite a few businesses now, more than normal, that are wanting to turn into the franchise system so they can grow a lot quicker. You don't spend your money building out those locations, but then you don't get all the profits. So give and take on that one, and you have a different role. But franchising has really taken off. A lot of people over the last 10, 12 years, a lot more people have really been getting into it, especially when there's downturns in the economy and there's layoffs, because people are realizing that their jobs are not quite as secure as they hope that they would be on that. And they find that they can control their destiny a little bit more or a lot more when they go into their own business, when they go into franchising on that, because it just, whatever kind of effort you put into it, now you're getting out rather than getting that review every 6 months or a year. You get reviewed every day on that one from your customers. And you have a lot of control over that. So a lot of people like that control.
Good. Greg, wonderful. Can you share the importance of personal development when it comes to the success of the franchisee?
Oh, absolutely. You definitely learn. The franchisor is going to teach you a lot. You just follow their systems, follow their processes. They're going to do that. But then look at the things that maybe you're not the best at. That's what I did when I did it, and get books on it and learn and read about different things. One thing you're going to be doing as a franchisee is selling something, selling yourself, selling your product, selling your
You're always
services.
selling.
Yeah, always selling on that. So get books. That's what I did. I just bought a whole bunch of different books on some of the top salespeople and just learned about how to work with others, how to help people get what they want out of life so that you can get what you want out of life.
Yes. I love that. Love that. Greg, it was great having you on the show, my friend.
Imperial opinions.